So guys, let's begin the session for today. I think the agenda is clear. I have already communicated. So a brief about myself. Of course, you all knew me from LinkedIn, seen my profile, everything. So as a quick brief, so I graduated from NIT Varangal and I presented research papers from my undergraduate days itself. Then I explored some predictive models and electrical utilities as well as solar. So I predominantly come from an electrical background, not now, but of course, some time back. So now every domain is mine. I go and apply data science and AI in every domain possible, exploring my passion in data science and optimization since last 6 years, let's say. And yeah, okay. Thank you, Swati, for the introduction. Okay. One of my biggest passion is to create some curriculum and enhance the upskilling for all the learners. So trained more than 500 people till date in last 2 years. And typically my training programs last for more than 6 months. Yes. So this will be the today's agenda. I think most of you guys know the basic curriculum, but we'll be discussing in detail what will be the curriculum for the next 5 months will be. And of course, accessing our website and resources. Of course, it's not very complicated, but I'll show you how to access each of them. And we have communication policies and some setup to be done. And then I'll discuss about our Wise Learners program, which is like mentoring, the 3 months program after the 5 months. What will we do there? And of course, about supervised learning and your journey with us and our journey so far also. If we get time, I'll discuss about the story. So this will be the agenda. So let's kickstart the first part. So this will be the topics for the next 5 months. So we start with descriptive stats, inferential stats, and of course, in the parallel, we start discussing Python, hands-on, basic, pandas, NumPy, matplotlib. Then we go to linear and logistic regression, some of the basic modeling algorithms, which been there for ages. Then we go to machine learning, which is like advanced modeling and advanced machine learning, the latest innovations in last 5-10 years. And then we'll discuss natural language processing also. As a part of curriculum, we'll discuss Tableau, which is a visualization tool. SQL is like a database. I hope a few of you are good with SQL. We'll have a beginner 5 to 8 hours introduction tutorial on SQL. And of course, deep work. Deep work is a productivity hack. This has nothing related to data science domain. It's not related to data science. It's just a distraction-free work, which I'm always passionate about how to attain focus in real life, based on a book written by Cal Newport. So I believe that to have a good career and good enjoyment in life, being focused on one thing and avoiding multitasking is something really useful. So my life changed a lot after reading this book. So I added this as a part of curriculum for every program in supervised learning. Right. So I think stats are one of the scary part for many people. I think at least during their childhood, people have hated stats or let's say math, but this forms an indispensable part of machine learning or data science world. So there are two main areas in statistics. One is descriptive stats, the other is inferential stats. So I've given the definitions here. Descriptive stats is generally about data gathered from the group and inferred to the group. Generally, you have a small sample or small population or a huge population. You have the data in your hand and you just try to collect mean, median, mode, or most frequent item, or variance, or spread, or standard deviation, all such things for that group. That's your descriptive stats. Whereas inferential stats is something like data gathered about a group used to refer the population For example, there has been excessive flooding in Hyderabad in last, let's say, 1 month, and the center decides to send a team and say, "Hey, we want to assess the damage to the crops." Right? They generally don't visit to every area or every field where the crops are being harvested. Generally, they pick a sample of fields they would like to visit, and from that they estimate what's the probable estimation for the entire state. So this happens every day in our real life, a sample and a population, right? How do you refer about a population from the sample, right? So that's one thing very interesting about inferential stats. We do it every day in real time, and of course, once you have studied inferential stats, then you will be able to identify the claims of Horlicks. Let's say they say we have identified 860 children, kept them at one place. We gave Horlicks to half of them. We didn't give Horlicks to another half. We observed that children who drank Horlicks uh, grew taller, sharper, stronger, and all. I mean, at least I used to grow up with looking at seeing all these ads and this popular ad, Fair and Lovely. 7 weeks, within 7 weeks, you get fairer. I mean, and so all the claims of these companies, I mean, by the way, they are legally true, legally and ethically, even statistically true. But how do they make them true? And when you buy Fair and Lovely, when you drink Horlicks, still we are like normal. We don't grow taller. So how does that happen? I'll try to explain you. And of course, this is used across the industry from manufacturing to e-commerce everywhere. So that's about the inferential stats. No need to get worried about whether it's confusing or not. I'll make uh, as much as possible simpler for you, right? The only thing I expect from you is like go back and solve the problems. Otherwise, statistical knowledge is very volatile knowledge, right? You just keep it in air for some time and you forget it. Keep revising, then you will remember it. Perfect, everyone. I think a few of you are aware of all this statistical knowledge as well. Right. So if I have to go into deeper topics and descriptive stats, this is how we go. We study about data types, what are categorical data types, numeric. Uh, Guys, whenever I discuss deeper concepts, if you are not able to understand what the names are, never heard of about them, don't worry. That's the reason you are there in the class. So you'll learn them. I'm just giving you the index of uh, the book or index of the course in order to make it interesting for you, excited, so that you'll keep coming to the classes. Right, so we'll discuss mean, median, mode, standard deviation, variance, outliers, and probability based theorem. And we'll also discuss about distributions, of course. We'll have more distributions also, Poissons and Bernoulli's, all those things. And then when it comes to inferential stats, I think if you have never studied stats, this will be something new. Central limit theorem, confidence intervals, hypothesis testing, chi-square test, of course, correlation versus covariance. So these are some of the topics we'll study in the inferential stats. And all the stats, when I'm teaching you, I mean, most of all the sessions go something like this: half of the time, which is like 1 hour. Let's say we start at 6 to 7 o'clock. I'll be teaching theory, and then we'll take a short break, and then we'll come back and do hands-on. Right. So when we talk about data science or AI or any other this fancy words, I think it's so fancy in today's world to talk about, hey, we are doing this, we're doing that, and all. But if you go beyond those fancy words and try to see what are we doing, so it's always the problem solving we are trying to do. So especially when you learn a new technology, always think in terms of problems we are solving. So I always explain machine learning, data science in terms of problems we are trying to solve. For example, these are the problems we solve. It's called regression problem, classification problem, clustering problem, lowering or increasing dimensions of data, and finally optimization problem. Fundamentally, only these problems can be solved by your machine learning algorithms or statistical algorithms. So I'll give an simple examples to modeling. For example, I think most of you guys know Uber. I mean, after COVID has come, hardly we have used it, but for a while we have used it, right? So if you look at the pricing, whenever you mark a location, right? So the pricing is not the same for everyone, and you very well know it. By the way, this is a screenshot of a classic blog where Uber was caught red-handedly. The same account, 45% and 90%, and the location is the same from which location to which location. But when you have 90% charging, these guys were charging $21. When you have 45% charging, they were charging $24. So Uber knows your battery level, and your pricing is also proportional to your battery level. Like you have a good battery level, then they know that you won't give up. You keep on trying until you get a low price. At least they'll try to map what kind of person are you. And of course, if you have a low battery, then they know that, hey, this guy definitely don't have a lot of battery to keep on trying, so he has to book. It has happened, and Uber publicly admitted to it also. uh, yeah, so so when people ask me, hey Prithvi, will I get a job if I learn data science and AI, I tell one thing, okay, let's try for a job. Most likely you'll get one. You will make a transition. In the worst case, uh, today, whether I don't know whether you'll be a producer in data science, but you're already a consumer of AI and data science. If you're using Google, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, and these products, where of course all the service you user is a product, then by default you're already into the world of AI. So if you have to safeguard your data, your willpower, your attention, and the kind of tricking these companies do it, I think that's biggest takeaway I can assure you how this is done in real life. Right. So coming back to the problem statement, regression problem statement is nothing but uh, predicting a number for you. For example, if you look at flight prices, somewhere some accident has happened for a type of flight, and the flight has crashed, let's say, and 2 months later the same type of flight has crashed again. Two flights crashed in last 6 months, then immediately all over the world a particular kind of flights, I mean the engines were down. That actually resulted in lesser flights, and that actually resulted in more and more prices. I think this happened last year in 2019. I don't recollect the name of that. I think it's by Airbus or not sure. So why does the prices fluctuate? Or for example, you try to see the marriage season. Of course, now because of COVID, there's no marriage season, but generally during the marriage season, these Oyos and Olas increase their prices. How is that happening? Almost everything we see today is dynamically priced. In fact, even IRCTC is implementing dynamic pricing. That's that's a good sign that okay, dynamic pricing is gonna stay. How does dynamic pricing work? It is a regression problem. So they try to generally tap in some of the data points of the user, of the locality, and the price is always tied up to those factors. I think it's good and advantages in some aspects. In other aspects, it's not good. So that's most probably the regression problem statement. Hope I made a few. I'm just not going into details. I'm just giving you an examples. Uh, and the next thing is classification example. How many times have you logged on to Google Photos, wherein you might have uploaded all your photos, and Google does a good job of classifying your face, your mom's face, or your spouse's face, and they uh, that Photos app can classify it, right? So cats versus dogs is a classic example of classification. Of course, not now when this has been implemented almost 15 years ago. Why do we need to classify a face on, for example, after COVID has come, a lot of companies have come up with applications to detect whether mask is on or not off. In fact, Apple has a different problem because Apple used the Face ID for most of its latest phones. Now, with a mask on, the algorithm was not able to detect, and people were not so happy. So immediately, Apple has to come back and update its algorithm. Today, Apple's algorithm will detect face even with a mask on. Right. So these are some of the applications. I mean, of course, this is more of a computer vision applications. Like, for example, we all know how YouTube recommendation engine works. Like, say you click on one thing and you keep getting the same thing. For example, you click a cat video, right? And you loved it. You completed most of it and clicked a like on it, subscribe to the channel. Obviously, from next day onwards, at least for next 10 days, you'll see the cat video recommendations. Now, how does YouTube know that whether there's a cat in that video or not? Obviously, they go on mining algorithms, using algorithms to detect what is there or not. In fact, if you upload an image on Facebook or Insta, the algorithms try to build a text around it. If you have noticed, this way to notice it also. So, for example, if you upload a photo there, then it will try to think, the algorithm will try to see, hey, this is a party image. This is an image where 6 people are there partying, 2 people are drinking coffee together. This is the kind of algorithms we have today. So all of this are nothing but classic examples of classification. And how is that done? Pixels. Your images are converted into pixels, and edges are identified, faces are identified, and all. So cats have generally small faces. Let's say I can take this example, very subtle example, size of face, or on this you can say number of teeth or ears. Let's say cat's ears look one way, or size of ears, let's say. These are like good distinguishing features. uh, Cats don't show off teeth when they are clicked, at least as far as I'm saying. Dogs show the teeth sometimes. Or size of the ears, dogs have bigger ears, cats have smaller ears, right? You try to map all of them, and this black color line is called a model, which kinds of classifies cats versus dogs. So you have a data, let's say 100 images of cats and 100 images of dogs. You try to give it to the data, I mean, algorithm. Let's say these are cats, these are dogs, and you try to map it, and then try to find a boundary separating two classes, right? Of course, bank loan default problem. It's another classic example which we use in machine learning. These days, at least for Nirav Modi or Malias, this loan default algorithms are not applied. But for normal Janta, when we go and ask for personal loan like 3 lakhs, 2 lakhs, or when we apply for a credit card, these algorithms starts working on our data, right? Most probably they'll look at your CIBIL score, they'll look at your all past payments, all the data is tracked, and they try to use an algorithm whether you will default or not default. They'll assign you a probability, and based on that, the bank manager will be able to, a manager or whoever the credit manager is there, they're responsible for it, and they'll take the call. And it has become so automated that in today's world, at least some banks I've seen in India, they are able to automate the microfinancing with this. All they need is your PAN number. They'll pull your CIBIL score, data from CIBIL score, and they'll decide whether to give you a loan or not. If they are giving, they'll directly deposit to your account. Not giving, you are rejected. So this is a classic case of classification problem and optimization. So how many times have we seen this? Anyone can tell me what is the problem I'm talking about? Looking at the image, what's an optimization problem? Try it out, guys. Okay, that's classification. I mean, this new slide. Of course, a classification problem can be implemented here also. Anyone from FMCG background or anyone who put their brains when they go to grocery stores? Yeah, various objects of different sizes. Yeah, go on. What? So, for example, you go to Walmart or more supermarket and more or big bazaar, right? What is the goal of that supermarket agency, or let's say the groceries retail store, for example? What is the goal? Exactly, the placing of the products, right? So these people exactly, yeah, Raj, more focused item. So what's the height of so I don't know whether if you guys, any one of you have walked in with kids, right? So most likely we adult human beings have a height of 5'8", and our attention area. In fact, people calculate this attention area. And how many times have you looked at the store like this, downward or like upwards? So when we are walking casually, the maximum attention span like is here. So if they have to grab your attention, they have to put most of the items here, right? For example, if the store knows that this is a item which will be purchased for sure, let's say drinking water or milk, they don't place them here in this. So drinking water and milk goes to bottommost floor because anyways you'll figure it out. So this place where you get most attention, you'll either put most profitable items or most sold items, which in either case increase your margin or increase your sales. At the end of the day, they have to make more money. That's it, right? And when you walk in with kids, you most likely don't see any chocolate or some kind of snack item, but these kids will pick it up somewhere randomly and put it in your basket, right? So how that happens, because kids are generally of not great height, small height, right? So the kids items attention spans are like this, so they place most of the kid item here, and you generally miss it. We don't know whether they are there or not, right? So that's how the stores try to optimize the space. The space is limited here. Space is limited. Okay, so where does your attention? So attention is a scarce resource. So we want attention of the customer. So where does you place those items? In case you're placing those items, how many are you placing? Are you placing most profitable items? Are you placing most sold items? Right? If you put most sold items, customer will be delighted. Oh wow, okay, I found out this. If you place most profitable item, you make more money. Which one to take? And by the way, how many to put it there? If you put more and more items, let's say here, you miss the chance of putting different kinds of items. Variety is less. But if you put too less items, refilling them is a problem, because stores open in the morning 9 a.m. by afternoon 12 p.m. all these items are gone. You can't afford to refill them again and again. there are standard refilling times, especially in the evenings or the nights. So what are we optimizing here? We are optimizing the sale amount or profitability. What are our constraints here? We have some constraints. Let's say space is a constraint, attention is a constraint, height is a constraint, quantity is a constraint. Again, very super high level of giving you a problem statement of optimization. Most problems you see in data science are optimization problems only, right? And we very a lot of data scientists ignore this particular area. So we will discuss how optimization works also, and how we can solve this kind of problems, right? If you human brain by default implements optimization also. Let's say uh, right, you have a discount going on Flipkart, you have discount going on Amazon. Let's say 190-liter fridge has 20% off on Flipkart, and there's one 210 liters fridge has 15% off on Amazon. What you try to, both will end up, of course this will be a bit higher priced. All right, let me put this 20%, this is 15%, right? At the end you both get at same cost, right? But you try to maximize something. Let's say more capacity is a thing, then you go for it. You want looking for, you're like deal hunter, you're fine with any amount of liters, you'll go for this. Something like, we do this every time. At least I used to do it uh, in those days where Uber and Ola used to operate. Okay, is it a share? Is it nearer? Is it raining? So based on that, I used to take whether I'll take a share cab, or I'll take a bike, or I'll take a full car for myself. So we do it every day. But what is the logical way of doing it? What is mathematical way of doing it? We'll discuss in the class. And of course, this is a classic case. I don't know Trump is doing this now or not. At least he did it way back in 2015. Uh, Data science implementations into elections, especially political motto, it's very visible. In fact, there was very high increased spend on social media advertising, social media analysis in India, even in 2019 elections. In fact, there's a popular company led by a person who have been hired by many political parties to help them in the electioneering campaign. You And it's called IPAC, I think, if you have come across it, Indian Political Action Committee. This particular company has helped a lot of politicians, major Narendra Modi or Mamata Banerjee, in electioneering campaigns. And how do they do it? I mean, again, it's not just a single application of data science, they go and do it. AI, data science, or machine learning is applied as nuts and bolts in a problem statement. It is not a monolithic statue wherein you put a statue, you use it at one place and said it's done. No, right? All the concepts you will be learning here throughout the next 8 months. If you're going to the industry, you're implementing them. You'll not be implementing one problem. Hey, there's a prediction problem, you go and implement it. It's not like that. So the database decision making, the database thinking paradigm should be used everywhere where you come across data. Right. So coming back to this classic clustering example, whenever people walk into your speeches, at least in India, it happens. You're delivering a roadshow in Hyderabad, it's different. You're delivering a roadshow in Varanasi, it's different. You're delivering a roadshow in Ahmedabad, it's different. Ahmedabad has a lot of entrepreneurs. Varanasi is a spiritual place. And for example, in Hyderabad, it depends on area where you are talking, right? So these politicians, before they deliver the speeches, at least Trump used to do it. In each state, he used to understand the kind of people, and I mean, at least his team, and then they used vocabulary which generally appeases or is liked by the crowd. That's what some reports say. So yes, this can be done using clustering, identifying your audience if you don't know about them. If you know about them, well and good, but generally in this huge populated areas, not all times you get the full information of your clients or customers. So generally we go for clustering where you don't know what kind of they are, but you just group them based on certain parameters and then figure out, okay, this is this cluster, this is cluster, and this is this cluster. More about it we'll discuss in when we go to detailed discussion. So this is another major problem, right? So that completes my discussion of what are the problem statements. Of course, I've discussed regression, classification, clustering, and optimization. Lowering and increasing dimensions is more of a mathematical problem statement. We will discuss once you are introduced to data. Hey Divya, go ahead. Have something to say?
Yeah, hi.
Hi.
Actually, about this the way data is collected and all those things in
Right.
our legal system,
Right.
everything is about data.
Right.
So why is it like if we want to use it, can we use it or not? Because that is mostly theoretical, and
Right.
data, I presume, is mostly mathematical.
Correct.
And second thing, if one wants to do it in legal terms, in law,
Right.
how should one go ahead and plan the strategy if one wants to implement data science in that?
Okay. So I think that's a good question, as I haven't come across a lot of examples, but I think one example I've seen in the past, evaluating the conviction rates across in different sections, let's say, that's one good area people are exploring to understand which sections or which acts are more vulnerable or being more misused. Or for example, the classic problem in India, justice is delayed. I don't think data will be a solution for it, but looking at the data we will be able to identify uh, which kind of cases are getting more delayed, where they are getting more struck, or something like that. If we are just going by numbers.
So mostly it will be more useful for academics or maybe writing papers than actually implementing it, right? So like you said about this criminal side of it,
Right.
that can be used for data.
Right.
Similar, it'll be the cyber crimes as well, right? So
True.
because
Yeah.
nowadays that has also impacted normal humans life as well.
True.
So
True.
will this kind of data science be helpful in that?
Yeah, yeah. So again, cyber crimes is a very broad area, but I have seen more applications coming on cybercrime. For example, uh, looting or taking away credit cards, credit card fraud, especially financial transaction fraud. Uh, I mean, I think I can classify it as a cyber crime where people try to fish, get details, and or without details also they're trying to do it. The credit card companies now have to detect whether it is happening or not. It's a transaction, is a legit transaction or not, right? I mean, see, these are two areas, very niche areas, I would say, legal as well as cybercrime. Intrusion detection, anomaly detection, these are some things people are exploring. I have seen use cases coming over. uh, yeah, we can use it, but we need people, at least data scientists or companies in those particular areas, just take up the lead, try to look at problems and see if it is solved or not. In fact, I can go ahead and say uh, we have just explored only 5% of use cases across all the industries, not just cybercrime or legal tech, even in edutech or e-commerce. There are only
Yeah.
very few industries which are using it again and again in a
Hmm.
limited use cases. But I think
Okay.
next 5-10 years it will be more of experimentation, like, hey, whether will be able to use it here or not. Go build a basic project, see if it's working, adding value, then it's implemented. We are
Thank you.
still in the ages of experimenting whether it works on it or not. And as you said, the data collection is very important. For example, in legal tech, especially legality in India, we just started digitalizing all the judgments, right? I mean, 10 years ago we didn't have a digital format, right? So yeah, it takes but time.
Yeah,
Perfect.
it'll take some time.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yes. Right. So let's go forward. Thank you, Devya, for discussing that. The intricacies of modeling. Exploring data is so when we talk about modeling or when we talk about building a model or solving a problem, exploring the data is the first aspect which we try to cover as a part of curriculum, of course in real life also. So getting patterns or distributions, correlation, covariances, feature engineering, these are some things which we are technical terms. Of course we will discuss all those things. For example, in the classification example where I put access a number of teeth or number of size of the ears, you may have thought like, hey, how is this guy able to tell this? So those are called features, which are like more of columns or data points where we observe some significant patterns. As a data scientist, we should be able to do all those things, bifurcating the users or bifurcating the data, building separate models. There's a lot. One reason why this area caught a lot of attention is, I won't say it has added a lot of value. I think we will add value to the industry. Google still doesn't make a lot of money with AI. I'm damn sure about it. It was a like forefront runner in deploying AI for users. But what adds value as on our data scientist perspective is this kind of problem solving is like very interesting. Generally jobs are monotonous, as people say, but if you get some real data to play around to find value, of course it will be frustrating because you don't get results so easily, but at the same time it will be very interesting, and I hardly see monotony in this job. And yeah, so one more thing is like exploratory data analysis. This is a slide, this is a visual which I took from one of the classic streaming website, a music streaming website, something like Spotify. It's not Spotify. A Asian country has one major player. They had made the data public, and churn is something very common in this subscription based services. What do you mean by subscription based services? Which charge you monthly, or let's say Netflix, right? So what is their asset? Their asset is nothing but the customers paying. Asset is what the movies all they hold. The revenue comes from the customers who pay monthly, right? Now if one person decides to unsubscribe from Netflix, so they have lost not just next month revenue, they've lost next 6 months or 7 months or the customer's lifetime value. For example, if I shift from my mobile connection from Airtel to Geo, right? Let's say Airtel has lost a customer for next, I mean, it's recurring revenue. If you guys understand it, subscription based services is recurring revenue, and the problem of churn is very important there. What do you mean by problem of churn? Churn is nothing but the customer shifting their loyalties from one brand to other brand. So the goal of any subscription based service is to identify users who are likely to churn. Who are likely to churn. So why do they do this? Because if you are likely to churn, then most probably you'll get a discounted offer. I don't know if you got this or not. At least in 17, 18, 2017, 18, Airtel used to do it, right? These guys, I have two SIM cards. One SIM card I use very loyally. Like at least I bill them 500 rupees, and these guys never offered a discount on it. I had another SIM card which I used to use once in a while. Then when Geo came into market, these guys started implementing, okay, the same offer used to be more pricey for the loyal customers, and for the not so loyal customers, these guys used to offer the discount. So loyalty is not generally rewarded by these companies. You are saying to the company, hey, I'm your loyal customer, I'm there for you, then don't expect a discount from them. Right? So loyalty is not rewarded, guys, at least in the market. That's how the churn models work, let's say. I mean, if you say that, hey, I'm leaving, then they'll give you a discount. If you say like, okay, I love your service, okay, then pay as much as we charge you, right? Okay, so let's come back to the problem of identifying the users who were churning, right? So this is a particular graph where we identified top 3 registration method for churn. That means we are trying to track the users via their registration method. If you see this graph, there's a like the green ones didn't churn and the red ones did churn. And let's say here it's around a 48% or 45% of churn. It's nothing but 323 divided by 323 plus 353. If you wonder how did I get it? And here it is around 20% of churn. 383 divided by 383 plus 1657. Now this is 543 divided by 543 plus 706. This comes around to be, let's say, 40%. Let's say, I'm just approximating. This is almost at 50%. So what is the registration? Let's say this registration method is 1, this is 2, this is 3. So the registration method 2 has very less churn, whereas the registration method 1 has the highest amount of churn coming from. Now you may not be able to identify I mean any interesting use case here, but if you try to look at registration methods, then you should be able to do it. For example, this comes through Facebook ads. These are like organic walk-ins, organic leads. That means people search for you and come and subscribe to you. And this is, let's say, referrals, users who are coming from referrals. So what do you identify here? Hey, organic people are the most loyal ones. So you need not give any discount from them. Then Facebook ads, people whom you get by putting an ad and they sign up for you have the high likely chance to churn. Now, this is a decision. This is some very interesting insight to the marketing team or the finance team to take an probable action, right? So this is expected out of a data scientist. This is expected out of EDA, exploratory data analysis. Now, we had this kind of data analysis in earlier days also. 10 years ago also, there were business intelligence tools where you use it to, this is popularly called reporting also. But what happens in the data world, especially when you use Python, is because I would say more of advanced reporting, because some of the operations which we cannot do in those tools, we can do it in Python. And second thing is scale at which we do it. Most of the tools are not scalable, but when you come to Python and deploy it on a server, it can be more real time, more fast, and more advanced operations can be done. At the end of the day, EDA is one real value add for your customers. If you are doing it a project for as a service providing for some other company, then they love all this analysis because they don't know this insight and you give them an insight. Wow, that's a brownie point. All right. At the same time, not all data science projects or not all AI projects end up in a model where you deploy something. Most of them end up in some good insights or understanding on the data. This is one example. And I really want every one of you to be very strong with EDA, and we'll teach it also. Now, let's talk about different ways to implement AI. Okay, I have someone. Exactly. Yes. True, Raj. True. Very true. That's what I said. No, EDA is nothing but advanced business intelligence. I mean, if you look at the whole world of AI and data science, it is not something very new which we never had before. So earlier we had modeling in terms of statistical modeling. Now people said machine learning, deep learning, and all, right? Earlier we had business intelligence. Now we came to more advanced versions of EDA, or more advanced BI tools, right? And even in terms of data storage and data processing, earlier we used to call it as ETL. Now it's more of data engineering, and right. The only difference between last 10 years is the scale has increased, the compute has increased, the technologies or the algorithms become more powerful. Now you go back and apply to all those same problems we solved. Now they become more advanced. Of course, names have changed. They have got rebranded, I would say more. But it's a truth that if you don't learn them, I mean, if you didn't know all these things, if you didn't know all these things, this will become appear very new. If you know all these things earlier also, then hey, okay, this is more advanced version. Yeah. I mean, people who have been in the industry since last 10, 15 years, every time and next 10, 5 years, 5, 10 years, we come across some evolution or revolution, let's say. Uh, I hope I'm correct, Raj. I think it makes a lot of sense. Of course, yeah, of course. Rebrand. Yeah, rebranding and marketing is to make more money, definitely. Uh, but still, I would say, yeah, there's 5% of problem, and this people hype it to 50%. Right. That's a good way to put. Yeah, somehow all these new technologies are being hyped up more than what they are needed. I mean, when I go and give sessions, lectures, I always tell people, hey, regression problem is an age old problem we solved in 1950s. Don't make that problem so complex. Right. Yeah. Perfect. So this is some techniques we will learn: statistical modeling, machine learning, deep learning, reinforcement learning. I'll not teach you in the class. It's much more advanced. I mean, we're not still using reinforcement learning anywhere in the industry, but yeah, optimization algorithms we'll discuss in the class. Briefly give you what we cover in statistical modeling: time series, machine learning. These are the some of the algorithms we will discuss in the class. And when it comes to advanced machine learning, we have some more algorithms. The slides are already given to you, will be given to you. I'll show you how to access all these things in a while. Don't worry of noting down. It's a good habit. If you keep a pen and paper, you'll focus on more. And when it comes to deep learning, we'll discuss about evaluation of deep network, CNNs, RNNs, there are hands-on, and of course, linear optimization also. And deep work, as I started in the initial class, so why, and understanding the barriers to achieve more focused attention, and then managing your attention, rules to attend deep work, of course some of my experiments with deep work, and all this of course at the end of the curriculum. Right. Okay. All right, I'll just show you how to access the website. And so just log into supervisedlearning.com, and every one of you, I hope you guys are following. Click register. I think it should be register login. So if you have a account, sign in, click here and go sign in. And once you sign in, the first thing you see is this dashboard. You can click dashboard if you don't see something like this. You can update your profile, right? You can click my courses, right? In my courses, you should be able to see end-to-end data science batch 11. This is something you should be able to see, every one of you. If you click this, you get all the details here. For example, the general documents where we put the curriculum, assignment submission, communication policies. So you can go through the policies after the class is done. Every one of you, I've given access. Please let me know if you don't have access. Lakshmi is there in the call. You can just ping her if you don't have access. Just let me know right now if you are facing any issue accessing something like my course on the course tab. This is a single point where you get all the material. So we'll put the tutorials, detailed tutorials, assignments, slides, everything, including the class, what is being conducted. All the materials will be there in the course module. If you haven't got access, let me know. We have sent an email in the morning. So we haven't populated all the information yet on the course module. We'll slowly populate as the course proceeds. I hope every one of you have the access, right? And the second thing, how to attend the classes is my live classes, end-to-end data science batch 11. Click it. Of course, I have been, because I'm mentor, I see everything. You guys see all the sessions here, schedules, everything is here. For example, if a class is cancelled, we'll email you and it will be missing from here. And even the recordings are accessible from here. For example, of course, this first session, you don't have any recording. I have to show you, let's say batch 10, the earlier batch people. So something like this, view recording will be available 4 hours after the class completes. And it will redirect automatically to you. And if you start playing it, you can get it. So all this is available on the mobile as well. In case you can log into supervisedlearning.com through mobile, you will be able to access the recording, but the UI will not be so perfect. Right? So this is the two places, my live classes, my courses, where all, if you can access both of this, yep, perfect, good to go. And this course access will remain for you forever. Live classes, all the recordings will be there accessible for next 1 year. Any questions with this? I hope you guys are here. Yes, perfect. So any questions, you can always ping us. The next part is, of course, the quizzes are also will be uploaded there. All the content, any content is there on the course module. The next thing is the setup, which have to email here. Just give me a moment, guys. Just right. Okay. When it comes to software installation, all the softwares which we use is in single distribution. The good part is that. So this is an open source toolkit, also called as Anaconda package. It's an open source one. It has all the packages which we use for data science. It has some environments which will allow you to use different environments, and it comes with an UI wherein you can type all the code. It's also called as Jupyter Notebook and Spider. So we will be using this particular thing for the rest of the entire course. So I want you guys to install this. This is a heavy file, almost 500 MB file, right? So don't download it now. After the class, I'll again email you guys. So Anaconda is a package, very easy to install until and unless you are experimenting with it. Just easy to understand, easy to install. I'll give you a blog also where you can have troubleshoot instructions. And of course, you'll also have invitation to Slack channel. After the class, we'll send a separate email to join our Slack channel as well. So in the channel, you'll be able to see all the students added together. All the updates will be sent to the Slack workspace, right? Please install Slack app on your phone as well as on laptop, and that's where you can chat with me, communicate with me, or with other mentors also. I'll introduce you in the upcoming classes. So if you have any question, you can always put it over there, especially when you're solving assignments, when you want to discuss any things, you want to network with all the people here in the class or across the batches also, it's possible. So that's the Slack channel. You'll get the invite after the class. Sultan, okay. So Jupyter Notebook is generally used for exploratory purpose, explaining purpose, right? During the entire coursework, we only prefer Jupyter Notebook, but the Anaconda package, which comes up with an IE called Spider, in fact, you can start exploring that as well if you're interested. But for the course, we will be using Jupyter Notebook itself. And yes, it's more of prototyping. When you go to real life deployment, you don't do it on Jupyter Notebooks. Of course, we'll do it in some IE and build.py file. All right. So, and one more thing, guys, please keep a tab on all our emails. We will not send any marketing related email. So it's only from on class perspective or any important updates. Most updates we send through Slack channel itself. So email and Slack, please keep a tab. And how we go about doubts is during the class, you can always unmute yourself and ask any question, pause me. And of course, Slack channel for the weekdays, Monday to Friday. If you have any questions because we don't have classes, you can always ping me directly or in the group as well. And in case a short call is required, we can use the Slack. And there will be a discussion forum on the course module where you can put some coding doubts. So far, people only use Slack for coding doubts, but it will be flexible. I mean, you guys can decide. And anything, something persistent, longer issues where you wanted to discuss in more detail, I always encourage people to write an email to me, or anything regarding organization or your invoices or anything more on operational perspective, you can email to learn@supervisedlearning.com. This one. Or let's say you have issues with recording access, your payment is not being happening, any policies related issues, invoices, anything else other than academics, you can always email to learn@supervisedlearning.com, and I recommend you doing that. And all our emails come from here. If you're not receiving any emails, please search and update Lakshmi. Lakshmi will be in touch with you over WhatsApp for some time. After that, once you come on Slack, we can continue our conversations there. This is something I have given, Anaconda for Python 3.7. That is what you have to download. It's a 500 almost 500 MB file. After the class, you download. people who are looking for what is the minimum laptop requirements in case you have 6 GB greater than 6 GB RAM and something greater than i5 processor, you should be good enough. Sunil, we will send an invite over email. I didn't mention any channel name as of now. I'll send over email. After the class, you'll receive it. We'll make sure we'll onboard you. Don't worry. Thank you so much. Yeah. Right. So laptop setup, as I said, RAM minimum of 6 GB. If you have 8 GB, good. Anyone planning to buy any laptop, if you need any help with specification, you can always ping me. I'll tell you. And processor, i5 processor should be good. If you have money, you can go for i7 also. You can go for i9 also. It's up to you. Storage wise, no specifications. I would prefer graphics card of 4 GB, and with regard to OS, data science can be run on any OS. But if you're like getting into deeper and I want to do on huge datas, then iOS doesn't have a lot of RAM. I mean, if you buy a lot of RAM, they'll charge you a bomb, right? But other than that, you can always prefer Windows or iOS or Ubuntu. Anything is fine because all our softwares are available everywhere. And recording policies, you get a recording access for 1 year. Batch transfer policy, as I keep saying, this is a more user friendly in case something happens in your life, job is getting changed or you're changing location, you're not able to focus on this, and you can avail our batch transfer policy. You can write email and leave it, and it should be used for exceptional cases. Whenever, don't skip the classes and one find when Prithvi is starting new batch, hey Prithvi, transfer me. It's not applicable. As soon as you find you understand that you're not able to continue with the course, please drop an email. And refunds and grievances policy, full refund given 2 weeks from the date of orientations if you're not satisfied. And any issues, you can always write to learn@superviselearn.com. Quality, quantity, anything. Mentoring promotion policies. So we are pretty much strict about promoting you guys to mentoring. I want you to solve assignments, submit them, and completion of quizzes and attendance. We take it very seriously. So mentoring promotion is only mentoring is complimentary. If you're not performing, we might deny you access to mentoring phase, the last 3 months of it, right? So be attentive, complete tasks on time. Right. So, of course, many of you have asked what's happening in the mentoring phase. Just briefly, the reason why we came up with a 3 months long phase, even after the completion course, is like a lot of learners have these questions: what to study after graduating from institutes, like how to build your profile, how to get an experience for next 1 to 2 years. And most of the times you look at breadth when you join beginners level courses. Only a certain topics you learn in depth, right? So how to address that issue and how to find your first data science job, how to level up your game after a year into data science. So this is something, all these questions we wanted to address during our mentoring phase. So this is called Wise Learns program. This will be the phase after 5 months for you. Okay, just a moment. Okay, so I'll for the mentoring phase, I'll give you very detailed instructions. Once we complete the live classes, there will be a separate orientation session for it. So ideally, what happens in the mentoring phases, we have weekly one session, catch up session is more of free agenda session where I'll not be talking, you have to talk. It's a time for you to build projects, and you can take up a problem statement, and I'll be able to answer, give you an approach. You can go back, try, build as many as projects. Apart from that, we will give 25 solved use cases, right? And we have some profile building sessions also, like how to build your LinkedIn profile or Git profile, how to write a good CV or cover letter in case you need it. And of course, this, you guys read it for yourself, ways to annoy me or us. Most of our emails get delivered, guys. I mean, there are some cases where we fail, but please check email. Most of the issues happen because learners don't check emails. And please read email completely. Most of the times we send very briefly. Don't check phone during class, keep the phones away, and keep asking the smallest of doubts, because everyone are new here, and most probably you might not know that, okay, the smallest doubt you have might be a doubt for everyone also. So keep asking the smallest of the doubts, and keep submitting assignments, because once we go to the use cases part, if you don't do assignments, you don't understand use cases clear and straight. How much ever I make it simple for you, there has to be effort from your end. And I always recommend you guys interact and contribute to the improvement of the course. You can always give any feedback, honest. Right. So, okay, there are some policies in the course module after the class. I mean, whenever you get time, please go through it, conduct in the class, and move to that. Some policies we have uploaded. And this is something I have to tell to 10 to 15% of the classes might get rescheduled due to situations out of my control generally. So we'll update you within before 1 day or before, let's say, 12 hours if there is class being updated. For hands-on, there will be other mentors also in the class. They'll help you, including me. And certificate will be issued of only after the course completion. Don't ask me certificates before you complete. Right. So that's all for today's agenda, guys. Thank you for trusting Budding EduTech, and it means a lot for being here. So thanks a lot for taking up this initiative to learn.